Hello, my loves. Welcome or welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist, and today we are getting together and we are just going to do a collective reading. I am not entirely certain about what the context of the reading is. I just know that as I was sitting at my desk, I was editing my book. You know, I've got TV on in the background as I usually do, just to keep my focus and my flow going. I just kept feeling collective reading. There's something for me to bring forth to the collective. And I started seeing the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot deck in my mind. And so I knew that there were messages that were wanting to come out. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it later. And in fact, later is right now. And I said I'll do it later less than an hour ago. Sometimes there's just something that needs to come through. And when the time is right, the time is right. So we're going to get into some collective messages. We're just going to find out what it is that Spirit, that the universe, that our guides, that the spirit realm essentially is wanting to talk to us all about right now, because they were very insistent this morning. So if you all want to take a deep breath and just get yourself centered and grounded, we'll go ahead and find out what messages there are for the collective. So Spirit, what messages do we have for the collective today? Okay, we have the Witch, which is also the Magician. Okay. I'm hearing Gypsy Fortune Teller. We've got the Spirit of Swords or the King of Swords. Oh, okay. Okay. Seven of Pentacles. I think we want one more. Do we want one more, Spirit? Two more. Okay. We have the Spirit of Cups or the King of Cups and the Warrior of Cups or the Knight of Cups. Now, the underlying energy we're going to take a look at actually as well. Let me pull the back of the deck. Let me just get these shifted up for us. And we have the Warrior of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands. Okay, so first of all, this is definitely a message for your Divine Masculine, which doesn't surprise me because that was something that came through last night. So everybody has a Divine Masculine and a Divine Feminine energy within them. It's the yin and yang balance that we all have. So our Divine Masculine is all about taking action. It's about directed action, directed motion and movement. But a lot of people think of the Divine Masculine as being very logical, very methodical, very calculated. And especially when you have a Divine Masculine like the Spirit of Swords or the Knight of Swords, that is the energy that you can get from it. Because the King of Swords can be very calculating, very, this is exactly how it goes. It's a logical standpoint, but the Divine Masculine is never harsh and never hard and never mean and never, there's a very skewed perception of the Divine Masculine. So last night as I was getting ready for bed, I started thinking about something that one of the spiritual teachers had said during a Zoom meeting that I was partaking in. And what he said was just kind of an off-the-cuff remark about how when he was in his shadow work in his Divine Feminine phase, he gained so much weight. And he's so glad he's back in his Divine Masculine phase and he's losing weight. And something about that just kind of set me on fire. It is this kind of skewed perception of the Divine Masculine that is going on, that I can feel, that I can see, and that it feels very much as though Spirit is trying to call attention to this. as you can see, this is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot deck. Every single one of the placements on here traditionally has a man, on it. And yet, if you look, every single one of them is a position that can be held by a woman. This is about how we view what the divine masculine really is, how we view what the divine feminine really is. Because for going back to that memory that popped in my head, it was about the fact that he's putting forth that if you're in a receptive phase, you're going to gain weight. And that, in today's society, that actually creates an illusion as well as a resistance, because nobody wants to gain weight in this society. Everybody's like, no, I can't. Like, I need to be as skinny as this. And this is not about body issues here. Please, if you are having any kind of body dysmorphia, please go see somebody. There's always help available. There's help online. There's help with therapy, anything like that. And I am not a medical professional. However, I do know that I at one point used to be 220 pounds. I was overweight. I was obese. I was drinking too much. I was eating too much junk food. And now when I get above 150, I really am hard on myself. It's something I am working on. I am learning through. So for somebody to say, when I'm in my receptive feminine phase, I gain a lot of weight, it creates this illusion within the mind that you have to keep going and going and going and being constantly active, and you can't rest and you can't receive. You have to give in order to fit within the societal standards of what it is that they think that we need to look like. And this is about really digging into the resources that you have within yourself in order to make sure that you are looking through each and every lens and perspective imaginable when you come forward with your messages. So if I were to sit here and say, well, when you're in your divine feminine, you're going to gain a lot of weight. When you're in your divine masculine, you're going to starve and lose a lot of weight. It's inaccurate. It's inaccurate, and it's not for me to do that. This is about learning how to communicate using the tools and the techniques and the resources that you have, but also that are available to you through spirit, through the world, through your lessons, through the things that you've learned. Learning how to communicate in a way that does not diminish one thing over the other, but brings them into balance, because the divine masculine has been so skewed in the wrong direction. And now the divine feminine is starting to awaken within us all, and it takes work. It takes work to get these things to come together and to be seen in the right light. Now, going to the end here, we have this. We've been really working hard at building something. We have been clearing the clutter of our mind out as well. And you move into the Seven of Pentacles, and I'm just reading these cards, on the traditional interpretive level. But the Seven of Pentacles is about waiting for the harvest. However, in order for the harvest to come in, we have to be in a state of balance. We have to be in a state of knowingness. And that knowingness comes from this section here, this emotional regulation that Spirit is trying to help us get to. You've got the King and the Knight of Cups. And this is saying it's okay to engage in romance. It's okay to engage in your passions. It's okay for all of that. And especially the Warrior of Cups, which to me is always the card about passion. I know everybody sees it as like a youthful man offering love or romance. But to me, it's about passions. It's about the passions of your heart that drive you. It's kind of like when you think about when you're a teenager. And when you're a teenager and you fall in love, and don't get me wrong, teenagers can fall in love. I will give you that. But when you're a teenager and you are in a relationship and you think that you're in love or you are in love, and you go through these phases where the romance of it is the most
exciting, exhilarating thing in the entire world. All you want to do is see that other person, and at the same time you're so nervous to see that other person, but seeing the other person makes you feel whole, it makes you feel complete, it makes you feel all of these things. And granted, you're a teenager, so you don't know better, but you're supposed to feel all those things for yourself. What Spirit is coming in and saying is very strongly that the more that you heal your divine masculine, the more that you retain that level of emotional intelligence and emotional, I don't even want to say control, but regulation, so that you recognize when you get triggered and you recognize when your emotions are getting skewed. And in doing so, you bring yourself into this state of harmony emotionally. Now you have a mental harmony and you have an emotional harmony. When you do that, anything and everything that is passionate for you, whatever brings you a sense of passion, now has a firm, stable, grounded place in your life, because it makes you feel passion and it makes you feel joyful and feel full and feel happy, but it doesn't make you feel like it completes you. It doesn't make you feel whole. It adds to the whole of what you already are. And that's why this Warrior of Wands and Warrior of Cups is so beautiful to fall like this, because this is about the balance of the inspirational action that you take and the emotional inspiration that you have and that you share. And you have done that by taking control of the resources, or harnessing the resources that you have within you, that you have out in the world, and using them to do the work to clear your mind, to clear your energy field, to clear out the emotions that aren't right for you, and to get to a place of grounding and centered and balance. And here we've got the inner child. Inner child healing. We all talk about inner child healing, but here's the thing. One of the big things about inner child healing, it has to do with an accurate perception of what divine masculine and divine feminine energy is, but also what divine masculine and divine feminine energy is within oneself. So we've got the card 8, Abundance, and 36, Divine Wisdom. So that is, this is, Spirit's taking this on a new level. Okay, so we all think of abundance in a different way. I used to think of abundance and think prosperity. Automatically, my first thought would go straight to prosperity. Okay, that's not what this is. Abundance is what you hold within you. It is spirit. So there is an abundance of wisdom, and we've got the root chakra. We've got divine wisdom is the soul star chakra. And then you have the heart chakra. So this is from the bottom all the way to the top, where you're getting aligned with, I just heard the Akashic field. You're getting insights from the spiritual realm. And you're learning what truth is, what beauty is, what matters, what doesn't matter. You're realizing, especially with this and the inner child, is what I feel like you are realizing, the things that you tell yourself that just aren't true. And then you're learning how to nurture the things that are right for you. This one wanted to jump out. Okay. And we have 40, the land between. So that's the liminal spaces. I absolutely love this, because I was actually editing my book, and this was part of what I was talking about. It was about bridging the chasm between one way of thinking and another way of thinking, or one way of being and another way of being. The land between is literally the inner child. It's that harmony between the masculine and the feminine within us all. So we have 35, a tall tale, and 33, ears wide open. Okay, so don't panic. I just heard a tall tale. Who's lying? This tall tale, you can think about it in, it looks like Pinocchio on it. But it's what's underneath Pinocchio that's swirling. This to me is talking about rising above all of the the illusions that other people create. It's kind of like that story of the spiritual teacher I told you about, how he can create this illusion that in order to be in a receptive state, you have to accept the fact that you're going to get fat. Okay, I know it's a kind of blunt example, but that's what comes to mind. So what Spirit is saying here is you have this abundance of divine wisdom. Abundance is just a plethora of something. It is a surplus of it within you. So you have an abundance of divine wisdom. So if somebody is sitting there talking to you and telling you a lie, you're going to hear it. Spirit is saying, hey, look at all the work that you've done, because you already know. The more that you understand these two energies and the more that you heal and embrace your divine masculine, the more you receive your divine masculine, the more you'll understand that those two are inextricably intertwined. They are the proverbial lamb between. And that is what your inner child is trying to get you to see. There is this middle ground within you. It's kind of like the High Priestess card, where she's sitting in between the black pillar and the white pillar. There is this land in between, and the land in between is literally your heart. It's who you are. It's your dreams. It's your wishes. It's your goals. It's your future. It's what you want. It's your now. It's your past. It's your present. It's all of what you are on a spiritual level, in your essence, in your soul. This middle ground is where the divine masculine or divine father, the divine mother or divine feminine, and the inner child or you come together into harmony and work and flow together. In this way, you start to learn how to listen to yourself. This bottom row very much feels like an almost separate message, but still connected. And that again is that land between. It is separate but connected. There is going to come a time in which you're going to have to be far more discerning. The more that you work on wielding your magic and using your magic and speaking your truth into the world and really nurturing the plant or the seeds that you have grown, and nurturing your inner child and nurturing your divine masculine and nurturing your divine feminine and bringing them all into balance, and then allowing yourself to live an inspired, passion-filled life, the more you come into your abundance, the more you come into your divine wisdom, the more that all of that takes flight. And during that time, our minds and the words of others can quite easily create these illusions within us of our lack of worth. We may actually tell ourselves, I'm so fantastic, I am this, I am that, and it can sound really great. But if you're telling yourself that and you don't actually believe it, then what you're doing is you're telling yourself a lie. When you tell yourself, I am a fucking badass, you're going to stand there and say, I am a badass. Look at what I've accomplished. Look at what I've overcome. If you want to say that to yourself, own every word. Do not allow it to be a tall tale. Now, this almost feels cautionary, but not in a bad way. Okay, it's like saying, keep your ears open, because everything that you need to know, everything that you need to hear, and every message that you could possibly need is coming into you right now. It's coming in for you. It's coming into you. It's bringing you this abundance, this wealth of divine wisdom and divine knowing, because you have been lost for too long, and now it's time to come back. It is time for you to come back. It's time for you to remember. It's time for you to see what your worth is, what your purpose is, and to live it. It's okay to do both. It's okay to do all three of those things that you want to do. It's okay. Balance and harmony involves making sure that you do the things that you love, but you also don't drive yourself into the ground. So do the things that you love. Don't hold yourself back. Just trust that what you want to do, you can do and you will do in the time in which it's right for you to do. I know, it sucks, right? It sucks. because you want it now. Because we live in an instant gratification society. So you want it now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's right for you right now. And if you get it right now and it's not right for this exact moment in time, it's not going to work. So allow yourself to really trust, to really open your ears and let spirit come forth and say, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's slow this down. Hey, let's focus on this. There are many, many readers out there. There are many people out there that are saying, go, 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 go. But you know what? Here's the thing. Sometimes we have to listen to ourselves instead of someone else. I'm no different. And that means that if this doesn't resonate, it's not for you. If it does, then listen. Let yourself listen. Open your ears and listen. This is divine wisdom flowing through me. I honestly cannot wait to watch this back because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But listen to what is coming forth to you. Because yes, there's a lot of go, go, go energy. But you know why? That's because Mars is in Aquarius, and that is quick, fast, and in a hurry for collective energy hitting us. But as Mars and Saturn come together the way that they are right now, it's telling us that we need to remember to take our time so we don't burn too fast. There is a cause and effect relationship to everything that we do, everything that goes on. So if we burn too fast and we have not learned our lesson from the past where we have been, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to go, 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 you burn yourself out. And then you end up laying in bed, not wanting to do anything and wishing that you could figure out why Cheetos taste so good. Amanda, if you're watching this, it will always be crunchy Cheetos. Always. They are the best. But you guys understand my point here, I hope, is that Mars and Saturn coming together, it's like a reality check moment, a reality check. You have the tools, you have the resources, you have the wisdom, you have the know-how, you have the understanding. You have been learning the discipline, so are you going to utilize the discipline that you have learned and not take off as though you want to burn everything to the ground, but not take off as though everything needs to change? Are you going to stop telling yourself all these tall tales about how there's not enough time and there's not enough this and there's not enough that and stay in that victim lack mentality? Or are you going to let yourself rise out of the way that it was before and say, hey, Saturn and Mars, you two are doing this beautiful dance in Aquarius, which means that you're pouring forth all of your wisdom into the collective right now. Both of you simultaneously working together, pouring it into us. We are going to open our ears wide open and we are going to listen to what you're teaching us. And what they're teaching us is about the truth of the divine masculine. The divine masculine is not that youthful warrior. The divine masculine is the peacemaker standing next to the king. It's not even the king. It is the one who speaks the truth. It's the guidance system. It's the jester in the court. That's your divine masculine. It's the part of you that you least expect to be the divine masculine because you think of it as being one way, but it really isn't. It's like Saturn. People see Saturn so negatively. They see Mars so negatively, but that's not the energies that they want you to know. Mars and Aries and the god of war, he was at the mercy of the other planets. He was at the mercy of the other gods. He didn't initiate on his own. He was at the mercy of other ones, which means that Mars only initiates if other planets and Mars are battling or we're battling with Mars. So why don't we learn about Saturn and Mars together? This is father and son coming together into harmony to pour into the collective to say, you know what, we can get along. We can get along here. We can learn how to temper this. And when we learn how to temper this, we find this beautiful inspiration, but we find an inspiration that is based off of the truth, the abundance, and the wisdom that is being flooded into the collective right now. It is okay to temper your actions and your reactions. It's okay to not jump forth and try and go too fast, because it's just not going to work that way. It's okay to be true to you rather than sacrificing. It's okay to be yourself in the collective. It's okay to be yourself in your life. It's okay to own the choices that you've made and see it through to the end. And it's okay to live from your heart and from your passion, and trust that you have learned your self-discipline so that you will not be harmed or be led astray, because you know how to listen. You have learned how to listen, how to hear and to heed. Okay, wow, that was very powerful. I really did not expect an astrological aspect to it. In fact, I had the intention of it not being there. Okay, there was a slight pause there. I apologize for that. However, what I was saying is, I believe it was about astrological aspects. I really did not intend on bringing that in. But it took a little bit for me to understand that these two planets are coming in to really teach us. We can learn from astrologers and we can learn from astrology books. And I've done that too. I'm no stranger. A lot of the times when I finish a project, the feeling that I have at the end of a project is, oh, like, I really need to keep going. I need to finish something, or I need to start something new. And when I get into that state, it's the planets that call to me. It's astrology that I go back to and I study, because it is a very, very intensive subject. It is a very expansive subject. But it is teaching me about limitations within myself. And I don't mean the limitations that our mind imposes upon us, saying we can't have this and we can't have that. I'm talking about learning how to... It's more time management than anything. But these planets have become my teachers. And they want to teach you. They want to teach the collective. They want you to see them in a different light than what everybody else says that they are. They want you to know where they're sitting and learn about it, but learn about it in your own way. Because when you do that, you allow yourself to change the way that you view the planets, the way that you interact with them, the way that they interact with you. Nothing is set in stone. Systems are in place in order for us to learn and to grow, but also to transcend. There's a lot of schools of thought on systems, and for me, I have run into multiple systems in which every way that they describe things just doesn't make sense. I have had to literally learn astrology from the traditional standpoint and the modern standpoint, and then kind of scrap it all and say, okay, planets teach me, because my chart does not make sense for who I am. It just doesn't. Which means, and I've looked at multiple charts. So I've heard a lot of people give me these assessments of the energy, but it doesn't always match my life. There are some parts of it that do, and some parts that just frankly don't. They just don't. I shouldn't be as impacted by Piscean energy as I am, because my Pisces is empty. However, my Pisces is in the 8th house, and because my Pisces is in the 8th house, this Pisces season has been running a train wreck. In a good way, it's a transformative way, but I don't see the 8th house as sex, death, and taxes. I see the 8th house as the house of the phoenix. It is the house of the inner depths and the divine wisdom, and where we go and we transform. That's how I see the 8th house. It's the death, birth, and rebirth cycle. Birth, death, and rebirth. What, you guys know what I mean. I just said it backwards. But it's things like that. The 11th house, we were talking about Aquarian energy. The 11th house is Aquarius. Sorry, it's traditionally Aquarius. Oh my gosh, I have the hiccups, you guys. Okay, I'm going to try and get through this. Aquarius is the traditional ruler of the 11th house. The traditional ruler of Aquarius is Saturn. The modern ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. That is, again, a father and son situation. Want to know a secret? It's not really a secret. If you do enough research, it's not really a secret. The original name that they proposed for Uranus was Neptune. The original name they proposed for Neptune was Janus. If we look at some of these things, we can see a different perspective of the planets. We can see a different light of the planets, and we can see a different way of interpreting the energies and interpreting the way that they work with us. You have to use your own discernment. Open your ears and listen to the planets, but listen to spirit, listen to your heart. Everybody works together in that middle place, in that middle land, the land between, so that you can learn what it is. And this land between card, now that I am looking at it and I'm talking about Neptune and originally being called Janus, Janus is the god of the doorways, the god of the liminal space, the god of the land between. So in a lot of ways, we're getting this lesson from the planets themselves, because abundance here is Jupiter energy. And divine wisdom in a book form, that's Mercury coming through. And Mercury is in Aries right now. And we've got the Warrior of Wands, which is also Aries energy. The sun is in Aries. And then you have Apollo in the first house. And as you guys can see, the reason why I'm sitting here just kind of spreading all of this out and letting it come out is because we cut ourselves off and we cut ourselves short and we stop allowing any kind of growth and expansion to occur because we think that we're done. We think that we've gotten it all. We think that there's nothing more to share. And in this case, in this moment, I can honestly tell you, I have no idea if this message is going to mean anything for anyone. I know that what it's helping me with is to see the different ways that the energy is flowing in right now. I know that this is 100% about the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and how there is a deep, deep, deep-seated need to heal the divine masculine. And I'm going to say that until I'm blue in the face. That may very well become one of my catchphrases in this lifetime, is we need to heal the divine masculine. This is not about raising the divine feminine up to a higher standpoint. It's not there. That's not what we need to do. We need to equalize these things, which means we need to heal the divine masculine. The divine feminine is in the world. It is in the world. It is rising up. And there are going to be those that are here to elevate the divine feminine, to empower women. But we have to empower them from a healthy divine masculine state, which means we can't hate men and we can't hate women who are, forgive me, butch. This is not about gender or sexual preferences or anything like that. I promise you. It's a stereotypical way of describing, and that is the point here. It's about the stereotypical way that we're describing things. This is about learning how to allow our receptivity to guide our actions in the world. Because when we go into this receptive state, it's going to show us where we need to go. It's going to guide us. The divine feminine, think of it like the guide. The divine masculine is the camel that the guide sits on. Without the camel, the guide would walk, the guide would tire, the guide would not have the resources and the help needed. The camel can go off on its own without the guide, but it would have no direction. It would have no purpose. It would be meandering. So if you have the divine feminine as the guide and the divine masculine as the camel, those two work in tandem together to bring you where you need to be. One without the other is missing a piece. You're the inner child. You're the part that they want in their lives, that they want to make happy. So think of it that way. Those two need to be on the same page within you, within your mind, within what you do, in order for your inner child to be able to come out and to play in the way that your inner child wants to play. For me, my inner child loves that I do this. Just loves it. It's like my inner Monica is tickled silly that I ran away for so long from being a tarot reader because of how I feel when I do it. My inner child is tickled by the fact that I write books. And I, as an adult, sit and go, well, am I being true to my inner child because I'm not writing children's books? It's not about the context of what you're doing. It's about the action of what you're doing. It's about the purpose behind it. So don't doubt what you do, but open yourself up and listen and hear the things that aren't true, but the things that we are meant to do. Now that I'm looking at this tall tale, I'm literally seeing the guide and the camel. And I get caught on this almost like flowery smoke cloud right below him. And he's happy because he sees it. He sees the illusions. He's risen above them. He's risen beyond them. You're not being punished for anything. None of us are being punished for anything, even though it may feel like it at times. Sometimes we have to work our way through those emotions and then say, okay, where is that coming from? And that is coming from a lack of worth and a lack of balance and a feeling that you do not have the resources or the wisdom that you need. And Spirit is coming forth and saying that's just simply not true. Look at all that you have. Look at everything that you have. Look at all the help. Look at that. You may only have one major arcana, but kings and queens, the court cards they're a step down, but the court cards are the ones that rule. These are your life lessons. These aren't just spiritual lessons. We can get caught up in the spiritual really easily and forget to live the life. But these are all about you living the life, like living the life, baby. So allow yourself the grace and the honesty within you to see where you are nurturing things and to know that you have the wisdom that you need in abundance. You are overflowing with wisdom. So let your inner child lead the way and get in touch every single day. Because when your inner child knows that you love them, then you feel happier and lighter. I know I do. Okay. My loves. I don't have any idea 90% of what I said, but I'm really excited. I feel like this is something that has been a long time coming and something that we just need to hear. So I want to say thank you so much for sitting here with me for almost 45 minutes and just talking. Just talking and learning from Spirit and from the planets and from ourselves. This is so fun for me and so enjoyable for me, and it really does make me feel great to bring this energy to the collective, to read this energy for the collective, and to be a part and to have you a part of my community. Thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to Spirit. Thank you to all of the guides out there helping people, to the ancestors, to the planets, especially today. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of the inner children out there that are still quietly waiting to be embraced. And thank you so much for my viewers, because they are amazing. Just amazing. Sorry about that. Go ahead and like this video, share it out with your friends and your family, share it out on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell up in the corner so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. This was pretty amazing. Just kind of a jam sesh with Spirit and the planets. And thank you again. If you would like to catch up on reading with my first 2 books, as my 3rd one is in the works, the links for those 2 books are down in the description box. There is also a link to my course, Breaking Boundaries, Finding Freedom, that will help you restructure the way that you look at yourself, the way that you view yourself, and the way that you view yourself in the world and your worth. It also gives you journal prompts that helps you do a ease into shadow work kind of situation, as well as wonderful suggestions for self-care so that you can return back to yourself and remember what it was like to take care of yourself in a way that, you know, is right for you. I also want to say thank you to everybody who has donated and who continues to donate to my channel. You are amazing, and I am so grateful. I did change the donation link for PayPal because I figured it would be easier to do this donate button link itself, less red tape. So that has changed, and that is new down in the description box. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for everyone, for your contributions, for your energy, for being here, and for who you are. I love you all, and I will see you all again in my next reading. All right, I love you. Bye.